Today's lesson is lesson 83 on page 172. And so before we start, we're going to read Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 14. And this is the Passover. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt, This month is to be for you the first month of your year. Tell the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household. If any household is too small for a whole lamb, they must share with one of their nearest neighbors. Having taken into account the number of people there are, you are to determine the amount of lamb needed in accordance with what each person will eat. The animals you choose must be a year-old males without defect, and you may take them from the sheep or the goats. Take care of them until the 14th day of the month, when all the members of the community of Israel must slaughter them at twilight. Then they are to take some of the blood and put it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the lamb. That same night, they are to eat the meat roasted over the fire along with bitter herbs and bread made without yeast. Do not eat the meat raw or boiled in water, but roast it over the fire with its head, legs, and internal organs inside. Do not leave any of it till morning. If some of it is left till morning, you must burn it. This is how you are to eat it, with your cloak tucked into your belt, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. On the same night, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animal, and I will bring judgment on all of the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and I will see the blood. I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. This is the day you are to commemorate. For the generations to come, you shall celebrate it as a festival to the Lord, a lasting ordains. So, the Old Covenant. So, the Old Covenant is the Passover. The New Covenant is the Lord's Supper. So, the Passover happened during the 12 plagues, and that's when the firstborn was killed, as we just read, if you didn't have blood on your doorpost. So let's go through some of these questions. Number 1, the rescue with blood on wooden. So what did they put the blood on? They put it on the doorpost. So remember, like we say, Jesus is the Lamb of God, while right here, the lambs were there to show that we were Christians, and it saved people because they put it on the doorpost, and then that angel of death knew to pass over them, knew not to hurt them. So a lamb saved them here too, just like the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, saves us from eternal death. Number 2, saved from slavery in blank and from. So where were they? Saved from slavery in Egypt. And from, what did they save them from? Well, why did we put the blood on the doorpost? Saved us from death. Number 3, remembrance celebration how many times should we do it? Every decade, every day, every month, every year. So we do it once a year. We have the Passover. Number 4, the blank with no stain or blemish. So they're supposed to choose what that has no stain or blemish. Well, in the New Covenant, Jesus was chosen. What did I say Jesus is? The blank of God, the Lamb of God. So they choose a lamb that is a year old that has no stains or no yucky marks on it, or deformities or any of that. Number 5, the meal. What did the meal have? So they had unleavened bread, which was the bread without any yeast in it, and they had wine, and they had more. What else did they have in the meal? Well, what was roasted over the fire? The lamb or a sheep, depending on what your family had. And then what is the promise God made us during the Passover? So it says, I shall be your God and you shall be my people. If he's our God and we're his people, he's going to protect us. He's not going to harm us. And then right here, our word study. So we're going to use the dictionary in the back, and we're going to define what a covenant is and testament. So I'm going to let you guys define that. Remember, the dictionary is the dark green marks in the back. Bible Atlas. Ooh, it's light green, isn't it? Light green. And it starts on page 225. So, find the word covenant and write the definition on the line, and find the word testament and write the definition on the line.